Hey, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga Dada Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga. Hey, as you can see, Queen Mother's very excited and happy tonight. Why? We're in the month of April. What's so special about April? Well, they say April showers, and even now, as we're speaking, it just started raining. So I pray that the power stays with us. But here we are. Welcome to Bonga Dada Bonga every Thursday, live at 7 p.m. It's a platform for women's voices, and we just love it. I am your correspondent, Ella Dashanaba King, and your other correspondent is Nana Afua Adesewa. We're the correspondents for this show, and we do bring on show anchors and show co-anchors and we feature an exciting roster of various guests in studio tonight. We do have as our stand-in co-anchor tonight the one and only expert health and wellness expert. We call her Coach Rukaya. Coach Rukaya. She's from the Republic of Panama. Okay. And she is going to be with us tonight as a co-anchor. So that means she'll actually be doing the show with us. Now, I know that you know Coach Rukaya from our health and wellness series. That's great. But she's with us tonight in another position. She's a co-anchor. So check her out as she's doing her thing. All right. On the show tonight, we will have Miss Alicia Garmon from America. She is a hair care pioneer. And we're going to just have a chance to get all into that in the show coming up very shortly. Let's give a shout out to Nana in Ghana, Gadamore and Aisha, Sissy, Ernestine, and Principal Malungu tuning in from Namibia. You know, I lived in Namibia for a while, and I thank them for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak show. Hello, and we're glad for all of you who are here. Speaking of glad, Coach, we are just very excited, like really, really very excited to have you back on the show in the role of co-anchor. Okay, so let me say to you that Rakaya is a mother of 7. She's a grandmother of 7, and she's been teaching Spanish for 35 years. And yes, in the future, we will be offering a Spanish class online. All you have to do is register and pay your fee and be in that Spanish speaking class. She's also planning a trip to Panama in the month of June. We'll be talking about that a little bit today. So if you want to rub your funds together and get ready to go to Panama. And in the month of May, there's going to be a trip to Curacao, the island of Curacao. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Okay, so even though, again, Coach Rakaya, you know her as the health and wellness coach, she is with us tonight, right, as the co-anchor. And right now, she's going to bring us headline news and more. Coach Rakaya.
Um, Good evening, good afternoon, everyone.
Coach, please put some light on. All we see is your teeth and your eyes. Please put some light on. And you can't come in on two. Don't come in on two stations. Turn one of them
Okay,
off because we'll have an echo.
that's what I'm. Hello, we're having
Okay.
some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we don't see you, but we hear you.
Yeah, and okay, so give me 1 second.
Okay. While she's taking that 1 second, I'll also take a second, and I'll say to you that for a while, well, I'm a person who drinks a lot of water, and then for a while, water like was just like not available, and now water is available. So like like my dear sister Alicia, I too Got my water. Got my water going, and we'll bring Coach back on when she's back in studio. I don't know what's happening in her part of the world, but we're still raining cats and dogs over here. Thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. I am Queen Mother. I'm also Ella Dashanaba King. You know, I'm Queen Mother on the Queen Mother Speak Show, but on Bonga Dada Bonga, I am your correspondent. Okay? I am your correspondent. Other things I'd like to say to you about water. Okay? I don't know how much water you're drinking, but I want to encourage you to drink more water. Drink more water. Just and how I make it happen is I put a notification on my phone to drink water. And what I do is I drink water 5 times a I'm sorry, 4 times a day. I drink those waters 4 times a day. Are you ready, Coach?
I am ready to go. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Bonga da da Bonga, a new platform for women's voices, a site point, a space that thrives to amplify voices of women and survivors who have been historically silenced. Hashtag Bonga da da Bonga joins a growing list of service organizations and supporters of women's causes in countries across North America, Latin America, the Pacific Rim, and Africa. You will hear phenomenal, extraordinary, even heartbreaking stories of some of the most courageous, powerful, and inspiring women, girls, and some men too, you'll ever meet. Each and every one of them is a superhero. And at hashtag Bonga de la Bonga, we are honored and proud to share their colorful biographies, experiences, narratives, testimonies, and stories with you. Why is Bonga de la Bonga important?
Why is Bonga Dada
Bonga
Bonga important?
Well, Bonga Dada Bonga is important in order to dispel the myths and misconceptions about what women roles are, what women can do, and in fact, what women around the globe are doing. It is an excellent opportunity to generate visibility, familiarity, understanding, comprehension, realization, and support for women's aspirations, of which there are many, and promote awareness, raising about women in many cultures from a diversity of cultures in Namibia, South America, Ukraine, Israel, Kenya, and other countries. Thank you for tuning into Bunga Dada Bunga, a new platform for women's voices every Thursday live at 11 p.m. New York time, 7 p.m. East Africa time. Back to you, Queen.
Thank you so very much. Now, how does this show work? Bonga Dada Bonga works because we have various women in leadership roles, and many of them are influencers. They moderate this show. They will serve as anchors or co anchors. They will be interviewing the various guests. They'll be speaking to news events and address the current state of affairs and trends that's going on in the world at any given time. The co anchors are from a very colorful spectrum. They could be journalists, campaign managers, activists, political analysts, teachers, women organizations, political scientists, publicists, educators, and what they do is they deliver their opinions and their commentary and analysis on the matters at hand. Do know that often their commentary may not be commentary that Bonga Dada Bonga may agree with, but we do appreciate them coming with their various opinions, right? And also, yeah, it's true. It's true. Let me just take a moment and say hello to our guests tuning into the studio. Let me switch up for a minute and see who's in the studio. Thank you for tuning in to Queen Mother. Thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. Okay, we're going to switch back over to Coach, who will be giving us info on the developing stories making headlines in the news.
Well, Queen, there's been a lot of developing stories coming out of the woodwork. My
Mm-hmm.
references are usually New York Times, NPR News, National Public Radio, BBC, British Broadcasting Network, and
Mm.
Washington Post. Xylophone, the drug authorities are calling a public safety threat. The veterinary tranquilizer has been linked to a growing number of overdose deaths across the country, especially in the Northeast. It's often combined with fentanyl, but can't be treated with Narcan. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 107,735 Americans have died from drug poisonings between August 2021 and August 2022, and 66% of those deaths involve synthetic opioids like fentanyl.
Mm.
Approximately 23% of fentanyl powder and 7% of fentanyl pills seized by the DEA in 2022 contain xylazine. According to Milgram, it is devastating Cherokee Indian families. The non-opioid tranquilizer is approved for animals but not for human consumptions. The National Institute of Health says studies show that people exposed to xylazine often use it in a combination with other drugs, both unknowingly and intentionally, since some people report using fentanyl with xylazine. Talentin is euphoric effects repeated. Xylazine uses is associated with skin ulcers and severe wounds, including necrosis, the rotting of human tissue that can lead to amputation.
Mm.
Tennessee's GOP dominant House votes on whether to expel three Democratic members for their role in a recent gun control protest sparked by the recent national school shooting. The move has quickly been deemed an extreme at the House, as only ever ousted two lawmakers from their elected positions since the Civil War. And let me go back. They were expelled on Friday. On
Wow.
Monday, they were
Mm-hmm.
reinstated by the Senate of
Mm.
Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Jones was reinstated. I'm not sure about the other two. I guess their case is coming up, but he was automatically reinstated instant. Oh, it happened on Friday
Mm-hmm.
evening, and he was back on Monday morning.
Mm. Okay.
Tennessee's Tennessee's GOP dominant House votes on whether to expel three Democratic members for their role in recent gun control protests sparked by the recent Nashville. Did I read that already?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Michael Popok of Liga IAF reports on breaking news that Trump's indictment on 34 felony counts includes the directing of hush money payment to a Trump Tower doorman to kill a story that Trump fathered a daughter out of wedlock in the 80s, all confirmed by Michael Cohen. The movement to reinstate President Trump has gone far beyond him and now threatens the future of American elections. That's one of the takeaways of Sunday's New York Times Magazine article, How to Stop the Steal, captured the American right by my guest, Charles Homans. He tracks how to stop the steal morphed into a movement geared toward future elections. Holman says scores of groups at the state and local levels, with the help of right-wing media figures and activists, are taking aim at the electoral system. He also tells the backstory of Stop the Steal and traces his roots into the Tea Party movement that started after President Obama's election. Some Tea Party leaders were active in trying to overturn the 2020 election. South Korea, North Korea on Thursday conducted its first intercontinental ballistic missile launch in a month, possibly testing a new, more mobile, harder to detect missile for the first time, its neighbors said, as it extends its provocative runs on weapons tests. Japan briefly urged residents on a northern island to take shelter in an indication of its vigilance over North Korea's evolving missile threat. The missile was launched on a high angle from near the North Korean capital of Pyongyang and fell in the waters between Korean Peninsula and Japan following the 1,000-kilometer, 620-mile flight. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said in a statement it described its range as medium or no longer. The U.S. medium or longer. The U.S. National Security Council called in a long-range missile, and Japan's government said it likely had an intercontinental range. A judge overseeing Dominion Voting Systems' 1.6 million defamation suit against Fox News on Wednesday imposed a sanction against the network after it made misrepresentations to the court and potentially withheld evidence. Dominion's lawsuit accuses Fox News of knowingly pushing false conspiracy theories that the voting machine company had somehow rigged the 2020 presidential election in Joe Biden's favor so the network could retain viewers. The judge said during a pretrial hearing on Wednesday that Fox News would have to pay for any last-minute additional depositions the Dominion would need to do before the case is set to head to trial on Monday. Dominion did not immediately make it clear if any such depositions were needed. This is all in relationship to they admitted that Murdoch was also on the board of Fox News. Initially, they had told the lie, saying that he was not on payroll, but it was discovered that he sits on the decision-making board. So this is getting really serious. KYIV Ukraine. Ukraine launched an investigation Wednesday into a gruesome video that purportedly shows the beheading of a Ukrainian soldier in the latest accusation of atrocities said to have been committed by Russia since it invaded Ukraine in February of 2022. The video spread quickly online and drew outrage from officials in KYIV, including President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as international organizations. The Kremlin called the footage horrible, but said it needed to be verified. The Associated Press was not able to independently verify the authenticity of the video or the circumstances of where and when it was shot. The AP is not distributing the video or using frame grabs due to its extremely graphic nature. One of only 5 people in the world to achieve full remission of HIV is stepping forward to share his story in ABC broadcast exclusive. Paul Edmonds' journey into medical history began decades ago. He was diagnosed with AIDS in 1988, a time when it was a potential death sentence. Thanks to his own perseverance and advances in treatment, he survived, even thrived after his diagnosis. Back to you, Queen.
Very good. You know what I'm noticing is this news. Woo! It's hot all around the world. And I'm thinking that we could just take a moment and do a commentary on some of these points. when we were putting together the news flash for tonight, there's just so much going on in the world until I it was difficult to pick what we wanted to speak on. But we wanted to speak on things that were happening around the world globally. So we're just going to go back to the very top, if you will, coach of the headline news, and begin to talk about this xylazine drugs. They're saying that it's like a public threat. I'll be honest with you, I was not aware of it. Okay.
Well, I was aware of the opioids,
Hmm.
but this situation, and I'm also aware of the tranquilizer that they use for the horses. They laced the marijuana with it. Uh, and sometimes people don't even know that the
Right. Now, I
marijuana
remember
that
years ago. Yeah.
yeah, that the marijuana
Yeah.
that they're
Years ago,
purchasing
they used to
is
lace it
laced.
with,
And so
yeah.
now we go to this xylazine and this fentanyl,
Yeah.
and now we have a situation because they have no counter reaction to deal with people that are addicted to these drugs that are supposed to be used only on animals. So
Yeah.
can you imagine? Can
Ugh.
you imagine
Mm,
using a drug that you had no business putting into your body?
mm.
Oh,
Oh my God.
and I
I've heard of
feel
it. I've heard of it, and I know of personally of some people. I think it's fentanyl is what you're mentioning,
yes.
and from the what I've been told by people is that people don't know, like you said, that it's mixed in, and from what I've been told, they mix it in, and the people who are selling it to the people, they are supposed to put it in like small amounts or something. I don't know what they're doing, but they're mixing it in, and people are not aware, and it does something about slowing down the heart rate, and
Mm.
Yeah,
it,
it has been quite a bit of death. But here's the thing, though: the
a whole lot of
deception,
deaths.
Hmm.
the deception of you thinking you're buying marijuana, and now they have laced it, which, and that's how a lot of people became addicted to drugs. I
Oh,
mean, because they thought they were buying one thing, and they were served another.
mm-hmm. That's
And
Mm.
true.
so this is now a very serious situation.
It
And
is.
whenever you see them talking about it, that means that a lot of white kids are on it.
Okay.
Whenever you see
Yeah,
there's a big alarm
yeah,
being made,
yeah.
then now we have to really bring it to the forefront
Hmm.
because it has become a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And as they went on to state that it has become very prevalent in the Cherokee Indian Nation, and
Really?
it's literally taking a lot of their people out.
Wow. Okay, I hadn't
Interesting.
And
heard.
that is so sad.
It is
That
sad.
is so sad
Yeah, I
for
hadn't
them
heard.
to let that stuff be available on the Indian reservation. But you know what the goal is, to kill them all so they can steal back the land.
Well,
I mean, I mean, okay. So, I mean, so why is there a exorbitant amount of alcoholism on the reservation? And you
mhm.
know, at some casinos, you can't you can't take no alcohol on the reservation. Like when you go to the casinos, there is no alcohol allowed except inside the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't take it. They're very strict because
Mhm.
I mean we don't they got enough trauma to deal with
Yeah.
Mhm.
uh you know from their
As a people.
ancestors.
I mean, listen, they got enough trauma to deal with as a people,
Mm-hmm.
let
Yes.
alone, some of this other stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I keep up with American news some of the time. I think I'm more tuned in to African news and Kenya news, but I'm noticing that over in Tennessee, now I don't quite understand. Are they saying that these three Democratic members, they were thrown out of the House for their role in a recent gun control protest.
They
So,
went out. They went out with the protesters to demand that a resolution or a bill be passed to stop selling these machine guns to people
oh,
because
okay.
of the three kids, the three 9-year-olds and the three
Uh-huh.
61-year-olds that was killed in the private school.
Yeah.
And because they marched with the protesters,
Mhm.
uh the
The
representatives stated
Republicans.
that they violated some law. And
Mm.
Or
Jeffries read the law.
house protocol.
It
It was
was
house
powerful.
protocol. Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
it was house protocol. They broke house
Wow.
etiquette, the house etiquette protocol. Basically, that's basically what
Mm.
they were saying. That
But
they
I
did.
thought
Mhm.
that Jeffries did it on his lunchtime, his lunch hour.
Oh, I don't know the details. I'm not sure about
Yeah, he went out there on his lunch hour. It wasn't during
that. Okay.
listen to me. They were just doing a test run
You
for the
know,
future of whatever.
you know.
And they were upset that Jeffries and the other two supported the protesters. As a
Yes.
matter
Yeah.
of fact,
Okay.
the protesters spent the weekend at the house, at the
Wow.
legislature house.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go home, and they
Mm.
invited everybody from all over the world. They said, come on down and spend the weekend."
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was something.
Wow.
It was something. But they really had to contend with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffries read all the bylaws that they had written.
Okay.
And then Governor President Biden tweeted
Mhm.
yes on Twitter that it was a shame of how they were behaving in Tennessee, and
Oh,
Mm.
that as far as he was concerned, Jeffries and the other two had done no wrong.
wow. I didn't know
But
that. I didn't hear
yeah,
about
oh yeah,
that.
you
Okay.
gotta
I
listen.
haven't been keeping up. I haven't been.
No,
I'm trying
listen. You guys gotta listen to Roland Martin.
to. Okay.
Do you
Roland
listen to
Martin,
Roland Martin?
unfiltered.
I do, but not on a regular. But
Oh, I do.
I love listening to Roller. He keeps you really up to the minute on
Well,
everything.
I'm gonna say this. He delivers a no-nonsense approach to the
I love
news,
it. I love it.
and he tells the truth, and he's very well connected and very well informed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
get it.
so
Mm.
we were watching this minute to minute live,
Oh.
streaming live. So
Okay.
I was I was all into it.
You
So
know,
this is
Daddy.
why I know the details. But yes, it was pivotal. And then Roland stated, and the panel, Dr. Carr, Dr. Carr,
Mhm.
and the other panel, Larisi and the others, oh, he'll be back on Monday. And sure enough,
He was back. Okay.
bright and early Monday morning,
I'm glad to hear that.
with the
I'm
power
glad to hear
sign. Look, power to the people.
I know that's right. Mhm.
So anyway, I mean, I really believe it is my opinion that they were doing a test run because they knew darn well that what they had done was illegal. But
Oh,
Mhm.
they stood together and they were trying to, whatever they're testing, well, they found out it's not going to work.
good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Pushback is what I call it. Pushback.
All right, very well. But we're going to move ahead from the news and we're going to go to something else. I just want to say to you, remind you that we have entered into a new month. It's called the month of April. And a few things about April that you may want to remember is this: America announced its first astronauts by NASA, which happened in April in 1959. The very first Webster Dictionary was copyrighted by Mr. Noah Webster, and that year was April 9, and that year, I'm sorry, was April 14, 1828. So, I never thought about how long has the dictionary really been around, but here we're finding out since 1828. The Titanic. How many of you remember the Titanic? the Titanic ship.
Yes.
It sank in April 15 in 1912. The Revolutionary War in America began on April 19 in 1775. The United States Library of Congress, I've had the fortune to be there a few times in my life. It was established April 14 in the 1800s. And our very first president of the United States, President George Washington, was inaugurated on April 30th in 1789. All right. I hope you and I trust you enjoyed those little tidbits from historical events that took place in the month of April. So, right now, we're going to bring our guest in the studio in, and we're going to ask our co anchor who's with us tonight, Coach, to give us a little bit about our guest. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing to you Alicia Garmon. We had her on yesterday, but it was so interesting, and she has such an array of a story to tell that we have even implored to her to please write a book. Alicia Garmon is a master cosmetologist and a master braider who has a great passion for Afro hair in its chemical-free natural state. After earning her license in cosmetology, she entered the hair industry to start exploring her passion for hair. She's a pioneer and an influential contributor to the hair industry. As a professional cosmetologist, she was instrumental in making history by being part of a team of hairstylists introducing hair braiding techniques still used in the industry today, while working with a popular natural hair salon company located in the United States. Her passion afforded her to make contributions that were included in movies, fashion shows, publications, and cultural presentations. After more than 30 years of professional leadership and training, she has brought awareness uh, of the effect natural hair has on the hair industry and society. Although it's time to retire, her passion for the hair industry hasn't failed. She still enjoys connecting with and helping people look and feel their best, and also helping hairstylists improve their individual special techniques. Now it is a time to celebrate success. Success isn't how much you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. At this point in her life, quoting the beautiful poet Maya Angelou, my mission is to not merely survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some
Mm,
compassion, some
mm.
humor, and some style. Welcome, Sister Alicia Gaman.
Thank
All
you. Thank you. Thank
right.
you. Thank you. It's good to be back again. I enjoyed you ladies yesterday.
Oh, we
Thank you
had a
so much.
blast.
And I
We
always
had a
love that
blast.
introduction. I love that introduction. I
You're
love
All
it.
welcome.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's so loving about it for us is that it is you,
Okay.
and it speaks to the one we know. And
Yeah.
I even like the personal touch inside of the introduction that says, listen, it's time for me to move on to another phase in my life. But if you need me, give me a call and I'll be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you the story of Alicia and Ella Dashanaba King. So I had moved from New York City to Atlanta, Georgia to take on a new job. In fact, in the hair care industry at that particular time. And we actually became a competitor to the Bronner brothers. So as I was newly in the city of Atlanta and meeting people, I ran into this lady who had just a fabulous hairstyle. And I'm like, excuse me, um, girl, where did you get your hair done? You know how it is when you can walk up to another lady and ask her about her hair, and most women are willing to say, what's up? Well, she was kind enough to tell me that her hair had been done by a lady named Alicia. I said, "Well, is she here in this city?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Then you need to take me to her right away." And she did. And in taking me to Alicia, I got to meet her. I got to meet the family, the girls, the husband. And you know, anybody working in your head over a period of time, they become your bosom buddy. And true to bosom buddies, she and I became bosom buddies. So I'm very happy to greet you to come to the Queen Mother Speak show.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your life growing up, okay, in America, and a little bit about your family, your siblings, education. Just give us a little background.
Okay, so a little background. So I was born and raised in Florida. I went to school in Miami, Florida. At the age of 18, I decided I wanted to get married. And I met my husband at the time in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
Um, Met him in Atlanta, Georgia, got married. Well, I am the eldest. I should say I'm the eldest of my mother had 4 children. So I'm the eldest. I'm at least 10 years older than my siblings. So my mother had 2 girls and 2 boys. So
Mhm.
I'm the oldest. And my brother that was born under me, he was probably about 8, 9 years younger than me. He was born with autism.
Mhm.
So um, I, being the eldest daughter, trained to assist with the home. My mother was like working and going to school herself.
Okay.
Um, Going to school for she was working on her master's in education. And so I just realized at that time I was dealing with, he was a nonverbal autistic young boy. So I realized that I was babysitting and watching him, and realized that that was a, you know, I developed a way to relate to him. So I
Uh-huh.
was dealing with autism before I knew what autism was. You know, I just felt
Wow.
like I had to do something. And then
Mhm.
I have a sister and then a younger brother who passed at a young age. So
Mm.
starting there, so I realized that my mom, she was pursuing her career and wanting to, you know, she's a teacher educator. So I come from a long line of educators,
Okay.
principals, teachers, even
Okay.
in a small town, you know, my family, they are have their names on the schools there. So that's how much into education my family is in.
Okay.
So after getting married at such a young age, I now realize I want to get married to get away from home. So I met my husband in Atlanta, and we had a 2 year long distance relationship. And I got married at 18, and probably around 20, we started our family. So I have 4 children. I have one son who's the oldest, and 3 girls. And now
Mhm.
I'm a grandmother of 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have one
Okay.
grandson and 3 granddaughters. And
Mhm.
so my
Lovely.
passion for hair, just hair, started as a teenager. And
Mhm.
I would just, the little girls that I would babysit, I would just play in their hair, and the moms were
Mhm.
fascinated with the styles, and they were impressed by how long the styles last and how well it looked. So
Mhm.
I developed a little hustle with braiding hair probably around 13, 14. So
Wow. Wow.
so that passion grew
Ah,
after I got married, started having my children and my
okay.
family. I started working at home as a hair
Mhm.
braider because
Okay.
I was
Okay.
trained by a lady that was, I consider my aunt, that was a friend of my mother's, and she
Mhm.
trained me how to braid because she saw the work that I was doing on the little girls, and she said, "Would you like to make real money doing this? Would you like to make this a career?" And I said, "I guess so." So she said, "Let me show you how to polish up your work and make it, you know, marketable." And that made history. Her name was Ruth Sinclair. She
Okay.
has passed on. She's with the ancestors now, and she's what I call some women in my life that have contributed so much in my life that they are the reason why I am the woman I am today. She's another brick. I call these sisters bricks. They could be
All right.
ancestors. They could be sisters still walking this earth like you, Miss Ella Dashanaba.
All
I call
right.
you one of my bricks. And
All right.
And then just out of nowhere, I decided that my clientele started building, and I didn't want to work from home. So, and another funny story I'll mention too while working from home. That's how I started working in a salon, but I had to go get a license to work in a salon. So I realized that I didn't want to do chemicals. I just wanted to deal with natural hair. And when I mean by natural hair, yeah, I would do extensions, but I was not interested in the chemical part of doing the hair. And when back in 1989, I think it was when I went to school for hair, they didn't have that. That's all they did with Afro hair was alter the state of it, meaning make it straight. Everything was about making it straight. And I said, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. So I decided to go ahead and just continue my pursuit because it was such a passion that was burning in me. And I decided to go ahead and just push forward and go ahead and get this license because I did see some benefits of it. So once I got my license, I started working in the salon. And from there, I just started doing my research and experimenting with just the natural hair. They thought I was crazy when I first brought my little tools to the hair salon. They were looking at me like, where's your oven? Where's your curling iron? It was back in the day when we used those curling irons, the click, 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 the Marcel curling iron. Yeah, they were like, where's your relaxers? And I'm thinking, I came in with a stool and some combs. Yeah, a stool, like a bar stool that I would sit on.
Okay.
Because doing braids take hours and hours and hours. So I brought a
That's
chair
right.
on. So again, they were like, "Where's your items?" And I'm like, "Nope." And they were like looking at me like, "Girl, bye. Girl, bye. You are not going to make it in this industry." But again, long story short, I just realized, like you mentioned, I'm a pioneer. I have to really sit with all of this because at the time I was just busy paving the road, just busy trying to get the job done. I was running down black hair care companies that sold only chemicals. I was running down the others because I used to attend a lot of classes and a lot of seminars and things. Anytime a black hair company in particular in America would have something, I want to go and just do my research. I would run the owners down, ask them, where's the hair? Where's the product for natural hair? What if I don't want to straighten my hair? I hung one gentleman down so bad, he was like, no, not you again. And so finally, he told me, he said, Ms. Garman, let me be honest with you. And this was way back like I said, in the 90s. He said, there's no money in it right now. I said, oh, you're making a mistake right there. I said, you're making a mistake right there. And now I want to say that same company that I was running down, I'm proud to say they have a hair care line now for natural hair only.
Wow.
Good free. So, and a similar story happened to me when, with you. I was working in a salon and a gentleman walked in my door into the salon and said, who did that lady hair that just left? And it was one of my customers that she had the goddess braids.
Okay.
And he walked in and said, who did that lady's hair who just walked out the door? And everybody was looking at each other like, oh Lord, what's happening? And everybody pointed at me. I said, yes, that would be me, sir. How can I help you? He said, I want my wife to have that hairstyle.
Wow.
I said, how do you know your wife is going to like that hairstyle? She hasn't even seen it. He said, I like that hairstyle and my wife likes that hairstyle. I said, oh Lord, he said, I want to make an appointment with you. I'm thinking to myself, oh Lord, I hope this man don't waste my time. Yeah. I made the appointment. His wife showed up and she sat in my chair. We introduced ourselves and she sat in my chair and she said, I turned it to the mirror and I said, do you at least want to see a picture of the hairstyle? She said, no. I said, really? I'm thinking about what kind of stuff is this? And so she said, no. She said, my husband told me to come and get this hairstyle, and I'm just going to sit here and get this hairstyle. Okay.
Wow.
Sat there and
now that is so powerful.
Isn't that powerful?
That's powerful.
When I finished the hairstyle, I turned her to the mirror. She lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was so nervous, because this is when the goddess braids was first being introduced.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
She beamed. Oh my gosh, she got up and gave me a kiss and hug, and
Ah.
she was so happy. And just to make a long story short, to this day, come to find out, her husband is a Christian minister, and they have a ministry here in the United States. That they that is a how do you call it? It's like a rehabilitation type residential rehabilitation
Yeah.
ministry that they direct.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
long story short, of course, I became family to them. They
Wow.
just
Okay.
love me, and her husband told me, he was like, "You, God has touched you. God has touched you." And I
Mm.
was just so, you hear that, and it's like, "Oh, well, thank you." But it wasn't
Mhm,
until years later till it really settled
mhm.
in. So,
Okay.
and I didn't know. I told you I was just
Mhm.
busy doing the work. I was busy
Yeah, yeah,
following my passion, you
yeah.
know. And so
Mm.
I'm just thankful. So, needless to say, that led into a whole lot of wonderful, wonderful opportunities.
Mhm.
Career.
Mhm. Well, I can understand. There's some of us as women, we want what our men want for us. Of course, we like what we like, but we like it, when they like something. And
Exactly.
quiet as it's kept, a lot of what we do is for their approval.
It is. It is. But
Okay.
Well, well,
I felt that was such an
well, we like
extreme
it.
style, though.
We like it. We like it even better when they like it.
When they like it. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
in my mind, I thought it was an extreme style. Like I said, it's the goddess braids where they sit up, and
Right.
they even could look like a hat and all types. I wasn't sure if people were ready for that,
Hmm.
and I get what you're saying. It makes sense, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, and I wanted that goddess lock when I saw it, and I did wear it, but it was such an elegant hairstyle, and unfortunately, I wanted to find some pictures of me when I got the award from President Clinton,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
what I wore were my goddess locks. I was trying to find some of those pictures that I
Oh,
could share with you tonight, but all that means, Alicia, is
uh-huh.
that we want to bring you back and we want to have some of the styles
Okay. So yeah, that's what
that
I
we
have to
could
see
show.
if I could find some of the styles. Yep.
Right, right.
All right.
And I had also, and even at that age, I'm trying to remember, I think I was in my 30s by then. And I had decided then
Hmm.
that when I turned 70,
Hmm.
that I wanted to wear goddess locks.
Oh wow. Okay.
Of course, I was in Africa and I don't know where Alicia was living at the time. So I didn't have them, but I remembered that I wanted to reserve because that look was so gorgeous. I decided I wanted to
Wow.
reserve it to a
Yeah.
certain part of my life.
Hmm.
And I did, I actually did. But again, I didn't get to do that at 70. But when I was installed as a queen mother in Ghana,
Hmm.
I was in my 50s and I wore the goddess locks there. When
Hmm.
I left Atlanta, she braided my hair and I wrapped it every night. Okay. So when I was installed as queen mother, I had my goddess locks.
I remember
I
that.
sure did. I sure did.
I don't know if you could
Wow.
tell from this. Um, are you able to tell if I hold this picture up to the
Well, let's
screen?
see.
Okay,
Hold it
let's
up.
try. Let's see. Let me try it. Let me try it. Where is it?
Okay.
Where is
Okay.
it? Oh, there it is.
Oh
Higher.
wow.
Okay.
Okay, that's just an example of what we call the Nefertiti crown.
Oh wow.
And
Hmm.
that used to be braid. That was one of the that's the braided style that I braided. I told you at the Smithsonian Institute
Okay.
presentation. I was a part of the
Okay.
anthropology presentation, and each style is unique to itself. And this is just the goddess
Hmm.
braid. But of course, I do all the other types of braids too.
Well,
Oh
my braids
wow.
was called goddess locks.
Yes, those are called goddess. Yeah, we actually call
Mine
them
were
goddess
called the
braids.
goddess locks.
You call them
Huh?
goddess locks, yeah, but we call them goddess braids, and they could be fashioned. It's just a big piece of extension hair, and it could be fashioned
Uh-huh.
into
Uh-huh.
different
Miss
ways.
Darman, you have some more pictures?
Oh, I'll keep looking. I'll keep looking while you all talking. I'll keep.
Oh,
But
I want to see the pictures. But moving on,
okay,
give us three of your most rewarding moments in the field.
Well, she's actually just gave us a couple of those now, but if there's another one,
Okay, so I get my cosmetology license. So what jobs are out there beyond a stylist or salon owner?
Okay, but besides the starters, there are several people wouldn't even realize. So there's what you call stylist educator. I have a career as a stylist educator, being a licensed cosmetologist. You have companies that would like for you to demonstrate their products. That in
Mhm.
itself is a business. They could hire you as a representative, and you could actually use their products while demonstrating your techniques. Of course, you have product sales. Let me think. What else? There are so many things. You can have just a career in the movie industry.
Uh-huh.
People don't realize the back behind the scenes things that goes on in the movie industries, and you are encouraged to join the it's basically like the makeup artists and the
The
hairstylists.
union, the union,
Huh?
the
Yeah,
union.
yep, it's good to
Mhm.
you could always join the union, and then let me think. It's so many different. This is why I love this cosmetology career. You could go into makeup. Being a master cosmetologist, that simply means that you are trained. I'm trained in nails. I can do nails if I choose to. I'm trained
Mhm.
in doing makeup. I can also be an esthetician up under my license. You know,
Wow.
so so yeah, we're trained. So that's why I like the master cosmetologist license, because again, you already a licensed to do all these different things. But I always encourage any stylist or anyone out there, you must invest in yourself. You must invest in continuing education, and
Mhm.
this is what actually develops you into a better stylist. And everything is
Mhm.
about honing your skills. And just like with anything, the more you do it, you're supposed to get better at it, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even in marriages, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
those are
So
just a few things.
any other questions, Coach?
Uh-oh, look like she's frozen.
Okay, she's frozen. Then I'll go ahead with one of my questions. Who
Okay.
is the highest paid hairdresser in the world,
Woo.
if there's such a thing?
Well, that is something that you it's individual. You really can't. I don't know. I would have to look that up, but
Okay.
you can make really, really good money in this industry. It all depends on you and how many ways you diversify yourself.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I really don't know who's the highest paid right now, but there are
Mm-hmm.
$1 million hairstylists that make $1 million, but they have companies. They have
Okay.
a team of people that work for them, and they're able to deliver. And I could tell you what you could identify, how you could identify things like that is, for instance, if I had a company and
Mm-hmm.
and there were people working under me, everyone in that company is trained under my technique. And when I say my
Mm-hmm.
technique, what I simply mean is this: everybody, maybe you don't know, but
Wait,
there are
wait. Excuse me, Coach. You got to
Yes,
turn something off.
that's why I went back out. I don't know
Okay.
what's going on. Is it okay now?
It. Let's see. Let's continue talking.
okay.
No, it's still.
Okay. I
All
don't know
right. Well,
what's
let's ask
going
another
on.
question.
Go ahead.
The global
Okay.
hair care market is projected to grow from 77.15 billion in 2021 to 112.97 billion in 2028. Where do you think this growth in the hair care industry is going to come from?
Oh, young Black girls.
Really?
Young Black girls. I have
Yeah.
noticed, because I have
Hmm.
granddaughters that are teenagers. I have noticed that just with their comfort of being creative,
Hmm.
people pick up on their creativities, and then the companies, they take notice, and they
Hmm.
start developing products.
Okay.
for these young people. But come to find out, it's like they'll go on like on their
Mhm.
videos and they'll start a trend with wearing two different lipsticks. You know, they'll wear
Oh,
a lipstick color on the bottom and a lipstick color on the top. And
oh,
before I know
really?
and
I
before
haven't
I
seen
know it,
that yet.
oh yeah, and before I know it, you'll see it out there. You'll see it out there.
Wow.
You'll see the facial decorations, but
Mhm.
definitely, in my opinion, from the young black teenage girls, because they call it black girl magic.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. Yeah, black girl magic, because it's like we're just experimenting with our creativity, and then it
Okay.
becomes a trend. It
Okay.
becomes a trend.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm loving that. But I have noticed that a lot of the girls are wearing black nail polish and black lipstick. And for me, I guess it has to do with my color and all the blackness that I indulge in daily. It just seems kind of black lips and black nails look kind of hard to
Well,
me.
that's just again individual expression. I hear what you're saying,
Okay.
because and the
Okay.
only reason because you're saying that your skin tone is darker. Think about it. If you match dark and dark, that's all you're going to see is dark. You know,
Hmm.
so you would have to have a contrast so that
Okay.
you will be able to see the complement. That's the purpose of
Hmm.
wearing things like that. It's to complement
Hmm.
you and who you are. So I
I
love
see.
black nail polish. Now I've never
Really?
worn the black lipstick, but I have worn like the dark brown that I love. But
Okay.
it's all about just complimenting your own individual style.
Okay.
That's
And
that's
when I come to America, I like it when I go into the beauty salons and to the cosmetic stores and just see what's new. I just spend hours in these places.
yeah.
And at one point, I came into America, and what Bobby Brown had a foundation
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
Lord, that thing was so expensive.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They're developing things every day, and let me tell you, a lot of it is quality, but a lot of it
Mhm.
is not. A lot of it is just crap.
Okay.
And you know how
Mhm.
somebody say, "Oh, this is popular. Let me just throw something out there." You have to
Yeah.
do your research. And you can spend. Oh, you could spend too much money in trying to find
Mhm.
the right products and the right cosmetics for you. But
Mhm.
yeah, that stuff is expensive. Foundation could be $100. You know,
Well, I did get some Bobby Brown.
see?
Not now. Listen, I'm not a girl who like name brand stuff. I don't want Gucci on me anywhere. I don't like
Mhm.
people's names on me.
Okay.
But I bought it mainly because he was Bobby Brown.
Oh, okay. So that now you see why the industry could be so high. That's why it's billions of dollars. Because if you think of just that product is $100, and just know, did you know that's not Bobby Brown? You thinking that was Bobby Brown the singer?
Yeah, I thought he put out a foundation.
No, that's not.
That's another Bobby Brown.
Yes, not even not. Is it? It's BOBBI, correct?
Yeah.
I have to go look at the
But listen,
No,
container and
B
see.
O B B B O B B
I think it's I.
Bobby I
Is it
B
I? Yeah. Is it be? That's what I'm
yeah.
trying to make sure. Look, before I rock your world, I need to make
Yeah,
sure. 'Cause I'm
because
about
you
to rock
really
your
about to
world
rock
right
it.
now. I'm
But I
about to.
Dr.
must
Nava,
say,
I'm about
yeah,
to
you
rock your
check that
world
out.
right now.
Okay.
Dr.
Uh,
Nava looking real disappointed.
I,
yes, I am.
I don't be,
No, no, but they told me
don't
it
be.
was Bobby Brown. It was the
Look, no, look. Okay, so let me. Is it BOBBI? Is that the first name? Do you remember?
I'd have to go. I have to go get the
Don't
cosmetic
let
and
me rock
see.
your world. Let's stick with the product. The product is a very good product in my opinion. I love. Look, should I tell her? Should I tell her, Rakaya?
Yes.
Okay, Bobby Brown
I
is a mature
uh,
white woman, Caucasian woman. Look at that face. But she has an excellent product. She has an
But she
she went
looked at
to
she looked at the market and saw that the other cosmetic companies
Targeting.
were not catering to the African American and Latino and brown people.
And
And so she just got a niche in the market.
she did.
Like these days, anyone can start a cosmetic business. If you have a couple of $1,000, you can send to China and have your name put on a whole line of products.
Yep.
Well,
That's
I'm
what
aware
they're
of that.
doing.
Let me
I am
tell
So
you.
aware.
Let me
this
tell you.
is what Garmon is talking about $5 versus 10 versus 20 versus 30 versus 50. We don't really know what we're getting. Go ahead, Garmon. You
Oh, no,
explain.
no, no. I'm just gonna quickly tell you that I could read right quick. Bobby Brown is an American professional makeup artist, author, and the founder of Bobby Brown Cosmetics. She created 10 natural shade lipsticks, which, according to entrepreneur, revolutionized the beauty industry. She has written 9 books about beauty and wellness. Now, in the industry, we do follow her. We do utilize her products because she's known to have really good products, meaning the look, the finish, and like Rakaya saying, she saw a market that mature and women of color didn't have a lot of makeup that was tailored to
Selection.
them, a
And
selection.
so
And
my
she
sis,
tapped
my
in. And see, the same thing I was talking about before, how there wasn't a lot of products out there for people
yeah.
who didn't want to wear their hair straight. People didn't listen. But now look at it, like it drove it to the $1 billion market. It really did. And that's my opinion. So just, but don't look, that's a really good product. She's
Well, no, let me tell you, Dasha Naba, most of my daughter, one of my daughters is a makeup artist, a real makeup artist, professional. And most of her products is Bobby Brown.
because it's a premium product.
And Bobby Brown, it gives you most of my when I've been dressed up, all of it is Bobby Brown. It gives you a natural look. Like you don't look paste down.
No, you
Your
don't see. Now,
face,
see, as chocolate as I am, when I put on that Bobby Brown, because they do have a shade that works for me, you don't
yes,
even know. You don't even
Right.
know
And
that I
it
have
gives
it
you a
on.
nice natural, and that's the product.
exactly.
And I have
Ex-
some of her products also. I love
Okay.
some of her products. And it's a premium product. So you only need a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. So
Yeah.
yeah, but sorry to hurt your feelings, to break it to
Okay.
you, but hey,
I thought I was helping the brother out.
nah.
My Lord. But I also got a purple lipstick that is gorgeous.
Yes.
And I've never paid that much for one tube of lipstick before in my life.
But
but
it
that
was
It
lip,
is,
beautiful, wasn't it?
oh,
It,
but
it
that
is a
lipstick,
beautiful purple.
that
And
lipstick.
I spent years looking for a purple eyeshadow, which I eventually found. Because when I put purple on, it turns white on me
oh, okay.
if it's not the right kind of product. But I
Mhm.
have you to know, Queen Mother, I have found a purple, and purple goes so well with this color skin. And I
Mhm.
also just happen to like purple. Purple was my marriage color.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Purple, green, gold, and a splash of lime.
Oh wow.
Okay. But
Okay.
I
Nice.
found that purple lipstick. So that lipstick and that Bobbi Brown foundation, when I think I'm going somewhere, that's what I want to put on.
Okay. That works. That works. That works.
All right. So I
So,
have,
Gaman,
Yes.
what is trending in 2023?
Ooh. What is trending? So what I'm noticing is there's a lot of twists that are going on, with a lot of twists with the traditional or the classic things. The classic
Mhm,
things. So it's almost like how they say, don't reinvent the wheel.
mhm.
So in particular, I just see the combination of like a braided look and then loose hair coming out of the braided look. different
Yes.
combination. That's one thing. And I feel like the lid has been pulled off for the creativity. It's like this is what it's about. And again, I mentioned yesterday about foundation. Once you have a solid foundation, then you can build in all different directions with it. So if once you learn the technique of applying the extension really well, you could do all types of things with it to create different styles. And that's what I love about this industry. It's just, and it's something for everyone. You could get the very, very day-to-day, very polished, classic styles to the very trendy styles. So yeah.
Well, I
So,
want to add. I want to add. Not only is the twist trending, the locks. A lot of sisters are deciding to just lock it down permanently.
Yeah.
okay,
It's
well,
called.
what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the
Oh, we are
8 o'clock hour,
that
and
quick.
so we got to go ahead and complete the show for now. But Miss Alicia, we definitely want to have you back to
Okay.
show us some more styles. And I also want to talk about. I want to start a survey in Africa. Uh, and I want to be asking questions about hair so that by the time you come here, right, we put several things together for you. We'll talk about that offline. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga every Thursday live at 7 p.m. Kenya time. And that would be 12 noon, New York, East Coast time. Remember to find the time in your zone and tune in to Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga
Bonga
Dada
dada
Bonga,
bonga dada
Bonga
bonga
Dada
dada
Bonga,
bonga.
Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga. Come on, dance with us. Bonga Dada Bonga Dada
Bonga
Bonga
dada
Dada Bonga.
bonga dada bonga
And
dada
it means
bonga.
speak, sister, speak. Speak, sister, speak.
Speak